of potential interest to those of us who like sharp things. This knife I purchased online. It's a Kershaw 12-inch fillet knife. I wonder whether I can get a little more distance. Yes, 12-inch fillet knife. Very inexpensive. It's made out of 420 J2 steel, which is a budget steel. Even more budget than the 420 HC, which I so enjoy in some of my buck knives, like this little Bantam, which I reworked subtly. It had much more of a prominent finger guard here, and this was made into a choil, so it had this prong here, and I found that disastrously uncomfortable because it wouldn't let you choke up here, and not only because of this finger guard, but also that thing would then prang you in this finger. So I just smoothed it out, and I think I'm probably going to smooth this out too. And so now I can get a lot more interesting grip options with comfort. And I also pretty much ground it to 0 on the Tormek and put a tiny micro bevel on there, and it really cuts. I cut the tip off a cigar with it. Let's try cigarette paper. Where did I put them? Well, maybe I did it on the cigar. I mean, that no good at all. Yeah, it'll lose an edge. This stuff, it'll lose its edge very quickly, but it'll get it back. But yeah, I may have thinned it out too much to really be of use for anything much. But that's fine. It's easy to back it up again, or thicken it out. Well, I thought it was going to do better. So how about this thing? I mean, you can tell by looking at it that it is wicked sharp. It is really, really excellently sharpened. I think you can see just by looking at it. Look how well polished and convexed, and it's straight. It's pretty straight, the whole thing. Maybe I'm seeing a little wave there actually, but for such a slim blade, you'd kind of expect it. So yeah, this thing's brand new, apart from a couple of paper cuts. So I thought I might just put this beer can here and then hit it with this thing and see what happens. Maybe I have to move this guy a little further out of the way. Yeah, otherwise I'm going to hit the corner of the table, which I did before. That's how that little scar got there. So now it's really going to have to be right on the corner there. Everything's in the way. Think about the foot placement in this tight space here. Can't feel anything. So how about that? I think that tentatively I can recommend this knife. Now, of course, even just looking at it online, I was already thinking about what one might do. I'm not a big fan of these grey plastic with black rubberized handles, except in as much as a starting point for doing something completely different. And aside from the materials, I don't really like this steep kind of choil thing ever, as a rule, very much. So, oh, this thing takes fingerprints, by the way. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We can't have that. We can't have that. So, right, handle. Aside from a better material, I think that for the purposes of what I just did, because for a fillet knife, yes, this is the right handle setup, right? But if you're going to be chopping and slashing, and see, when I saw this thing, I thought, well, that looks like a pretty wicked little machete, you know? And yeah, having now tested it, I'm, yeah, like I say, kind of conclude that that probably is going to be the case, right? I mean, it's got the right geometry, and aside from that, it's an ultra tough steel that is very stainless. So we're talking a fairly indestructible blade within the category of being this thin and slicey. And yeah, the sheath, or the saya, this little scabbard, and you could wrap that in 100 ways, right? Do cool stuff with that. Birch bark, leather, paracord. And yeah, so a handle a bit more like this, kind of, right? I don't need any new projects. No new projects, Lord. I did that wrong, didn't I? Should never do that. Sorry, Father. Do that again. Yeah, well, thanks for watching. We'll update with any progress on this new project.